The menus in Rimworld are not particularly hard, however it is difficult to understand how to navigate them and what some of the options mean. This time around we are going to look into the Architect tab and all of the tabs that are within it. To begin with, we shall start with the Orders tab, which, although slightly self-explanatory, is nonetheless very important to understand. Here we provide orders for our pawns, which we have 3 of, as you can see in this demonstration, and depending on what you select, you are able to give them different orders. Cancel option, as it's described here, cancels any designated building, mining, hauling, harvesting, and other designation. So for example, if we have placed a building such as this floor here, we can use the cancel option to simply cancel it, and it will drop any materials, if any were placed, back onto the ground, and it will, simply speaking, cancel the operation. If you have, for example, given a pawn the opportunity or have ordered them to mine, you are again able to select cancel and click on the tile that you have selected for mining. Doing so will remove the operation. Deconstructing focuses on buildings, for example tiles, which you click, and you can of course click and drag to select multiple. Same applies for the cancel function. Mining focuses on, well, mining materials. In this particular case, we are talking about natural resources, mostly of the mountainous variety, meaning that you are able to click on any tile which has naturally been generated, and you are able to select it for it to be mined. Chopping wood, self-explanatory, does the same thing except with wood, and that's it with trees. When it comes to cutting plants, we are not specifically only going to be cutting grass, foliage, and whatnot. Cutting also applies to wood. So in a sense, cutting plants is the same thing as chopping wood, except with the only difference is that you are able to cut plants as well, cut the foliage to clear out a certain area that you select. Harvesting focuses on plants which are able to produce some sort of goods, so whether that is food, whether those are medical plants, whether they are berry bushes, for example, such as these ones here, you have the harvest option. Hunting focuses on animals. If you select it in the orders and hunt option, you are able to drag a certain area and select specific animals, if you want, that are to be hunted, for example, such as so. Every hunted animal gets a crosshair mark, and that is pretty much it. Slaughtering is used for tamed animals. For example, I believe we have a turkey down here, and this turkey is designated to be slaughtered, which is an action a pawn will perform for no cost except time. Next up, we have taming. So again, another animal function which you are able to use to tame a wild animal. You will designate a specific animal either by clicking on it or selecting a specific area, and you will hear a very nice sound notifying you that this is actually the function. For hauling things, this can apply for any particular object, but mostly it is used for stone chunks, for steel chunks, objects similar to that. You are also able to use it for specific resources on the map. Let's see if I can find some loose steel, maybe this particular one. So no, we cannot do that, never mind. Next up, the options for allow and forbidding. If you allow something, it means that pawns are able to interact with it. If you forbid it, the pawns will not be able to interact with it. What do I mean by this? If, for example, you forbid a door, you will see a big X pop up, and this just means that pawns will not be able to interact with the door, meaning they will be unable to walk through the door. If it is on the other hand allowed, they will be able to use it as normal. Claiming is used for neutral structures. Neutral structures are naturally generated terrain, naturally generated structures that you find on the map. For example, in this particular building, this recreation room, some of these walls are not built by our colony. Some of them were just naturally generated, and what I did was I built around them. If I want, I can claim all of these, and now they are part of our colony, and our colonists will treat them as such. If there are any repairs that need to be done, that's what they are going to do. Smoothing the surface is a function that we use to smooth stone floors and stone surfaces. So something, for example, such as this limestone block here. It takes quite a while for it to be done. After all, smoothing stone is not an easy thing. However, it ends up giving the stone quite a large boost to beauty. Finally, we have painting buildings. You will just select a specific die. You will go and select a wall, which will then get painted eventually. As it says here, you need to have Tinctoria plants, which you can select in the growing zone, and it is at the very bottom of the menu here, Tinctoria. Once you have plenty of it, which is Tinctoria is basically dye, you're able to paint the building walls. Next up is the painting floors. It is the same function except for the walls, and removing paint is pretty much as it says on the tin. It just does the opposite. Planning and removing plants is basically putting down blueprints. What do you want? How do you want to designate a space? You just click and drag however you want. It does not do anything on the map. It does not change the map in any way, except you get these transparent little rectangles, squares, and they are very useful in case of future projects. For myself personally, I don't really use them, seeing as I already know what I'm going to do. However, they are very useful in case you make long breaks and you don't play in long continuous sessions. Removing plants just deletes them, and that is it.